Previously on Eugene's A Traveling Drummer's Diary.
Cocaine leaf.
This episode is the third and final part of the Central and South American tour I did with Vital Remains in 2017, and it will cover my adventures in Brazil. Traveling as a musician by plane sometimes inevitably results in witnessing the horrors of airports. One of the most important things I haven't talked about on this tour yet is the water. You might be used to drink tap water if you come from a place where it's clean enough. Doing this on the other side of the planet might result in getting seriously sick, and no vaccination will protect you from that. Even some really civilized countries don't have drinking tap water. I witnessed some local folks in South America drinking tap water without any consequences. So the conclusion is, the water is not more or less polluted in some countries, but polluted in a different way. People living there their whole life might be just immune to it, but at the same time get sick from drinking tap water in Europe. It's pretty normal that your body is not adapted to the food and climate of a place 10,000 kilometers away from your home. So you should be super careful with that. No drinking from the tap, no brushing teeth with tap water, shower with your mouth tightly shut. If you're offered a bottle of water already open, be careful, for it might have been refilled from the tap. If you don't want to insult local folks telling them, "I'm not drinking your contaminated shit," you should rather say, "I prefer sparkling water." This way you are sure you are not drinking from the tap and you don't offend anyone. Some people might say, the water is totally okay to drink from the tap in my country, but it might be just okay for them, locals, not you. Another safe tip is to drink soda or beer all the time, but it might be really hard on your stomach. Theoretically, boiled water should be good enough if you boil it yourself, otherwise you can never be sure if it was boiled enough or filtered at all. Another thing is the ice in the drinks. When you order a drink in a bar or a plane, make sure you tell them you don't want ice, otherwise they might put it by default. So,
Tip number 35. In exotic places, drink and brush teeth only with bottled water, no ice.
Sao Paulo is the largest city by population in all South America. We had a nice hotel room on the 20th something floor. We played the Clash Club, which is a pretty big and really nice venue with a big screen instead of a backdrop. We had really good attendance and met some friends from Brazil. It was one of the best shows on that tour. Next day, early morning flight to Fortaleza. We received a really nice gift from the local promoter in Sao Paulo, which always comes in handy if you're running short on clothes. Before going to exotic locations, make sure you do your research on vaccinations that are recommended for a particular country. I have been told that the yellow fever vaccination is the most basic one you should get against mosquitoes in tropical areas. I haven't got the shots because I thought it was not worth the risk of getting some nasty side effects. Besides, they only recommend it if you go to the jungle, which was not our case. Turned out I was wrong, we did go to the jungle. More on this later. Since I wasn't vaccinated, I was anti-mosquito spraying myself 24/7 since our arrival to the equatorial part of Brazil.
Tip number 36. Vaccination or not, mosquito repellent is a must if you visit the tropics.
We were offered a very modest hotel at first.
Why we're still here? Just to suffer.
But later, after some disagreements, we were moved to a different one.
This is so cool, they even got alien Jesus.
The new hotel had a nice view at the beach.
Beautiful, isn't it?
I took a quick nap to wake up to some unexpected news.
Apparently there's no show tonight. Everybody's here, lots of people. But we have no PA. Backline's here, but no.
We were told that the PA guy showed up before the gig with no equipment and just said, "This is not gonna happen," or something like that, and left. The promoter did his best to save the show, but unfortunately with no success. Which was a damn shame because for this headlining show we had the biggest attendance on this tour, more than 300 people if I'm not mistaken. One of the big advantages of the cancelled gig was that we could have some rest, because this was supposed to be the 4th show in a row without proper sleep and I was just about to collapse. Next day morning, the usual breakfast, and we headed out to the airport.
That's cool. I also got wheels.
Tip number 37. Why walk if you can roll?
This is war. Into the tunnel.
Welcome to Balam, the real jungle. I'm saying this because I was unaware that the show will actually take place at a jungle resort in the outskirts of the city.
Ой, ялки-палки, ну чуваки, все, я попав, жопа.
We got a shed in the middle of the jungle, as you can see. At least it had air conditioning.
Максимально парашив.
We had some dinner in a restaurant and made some new friends.
This guy just lives here?
The whole resort looked like a good place for a family vacation, but definitely not for a death metal show. The stage looked really similar to our accommodations.
Okay, is this where we're gonna play? На, то вообще масакра. Ant colonies. А там Orc Watchtower. Амазон. Да, инфа. Вот всі закази оттуда і приходять, з тої річки там, по річці прямо пливуть. Там за забором Тіракс. Morning everybody, now I'm gonna flood this cottage, because I'm a dick. Important rule, ladies and gentlemen, this is where I slept.
Don't sleep right next to the air conditioning because you'll get sick.
It was time for us to leave this Jurassic Park and head to our final destination on this tour, Sao Luis. The last gig was an open-air festival. If I'm not mistaken, the event was for free, so we had attendance of around 3,000 people. Went to a local mall to fill our stomachs.
Jesus, soda. Here, I have some soda for it's my blood.
We got one of those typical festival containers as a backstage. The difference in temperature was really big. It was freezing inside and unbearably hot outside. In this case, you should be extra careful. Air conditioners can be dangerous enemies.
Sorry!
What can I say? I suck at throwing sticks into the crowd. After the show, I went in front of the stage to do some signing session, and I got violently pulled by my hair into the crowd. All those were girls, and they were trying to smell it. Unfortunately, I don't have footage of it, so you'll have to take my word for this.
Но! Та волосся мої тігали, та чесне слово.
I was supposed to be picked up by the promoter to the airport next day, but for some reason it never happened. The others have already left and I had no chance to contact anyone. Somehow I had a feeling that things might go wrong, so I just called a cab. After everything I have been through, there was no way I would miss my flight home.
Tip number 39. While catching your flight home, make sure you have a plan B. You don't want to spend all your tour money on a new plane ticket.
A tour can change a person a lot, especially their clothing. It was time for me to leave this continent. Touring South and Central America was one of the biggest challenges in my life. If you can survive this as a musician, almost any other tour for you is a piece of cake. Despite all the dangers this place poses, I feel really grateful and lucky to be able to have this experience. This is where real life happens, in the wild, and not on your mom's comfortable couch at home. This video ends the South and Central American tour with Vital Remains in 2017 and closes another big chapter in my adventures. I hope you enjoyed it and were able to learn something interesting from the tough life of a musician on the road. I promise to be back with the next episode of the Traveling Drummer's Diary saga very soon. Take care and safe travels. Eugene, out.
still here? Make sure you check out these as well.